If you have a cable pulley tower like this one at home, then you know the struggle of not being able to do lat pull downs with full extension. I've tried a lot of solutions. I was sitting on the floor for a while, which did work, but it was very uncomfortable to get in and out of. And I've been so jealous of all the people that I've seen either make or buy attachments that turn their cable tower into a lat pull down tower. The problem is I have no additional space on top of these towers. My ceiling is right there. I maybe have a half of an inch, so I can't add anything up there to give myself some extra height. So my gears started turning and I figured out the easiest and cheapest solution. So the problem with pulley towers is that the tower ends all the way up here, but the highest pulley setting is right here. So we're losing about a foot. And that's because you have the wheels at the top, so the adjustable pulley can't go all the way to the top. And when I'm sitting here, I'm close to extension, but I need an extra few inches. So I always thought if there was a wheel right at the top, it would be absolutely perfect. So I realized that there is a bolt right at the top here when you put everything together. That would be the perfect spot for a pulley wheel. So because there's that bolt at the top of these towers, all I did was I hopped on Amazon and I found a standalone pulley wheel that has a bracket. Now, this bracket came with a little hook that went through a hole because essentially it's meant to hook over the top of your rack and turn it into a makeshift pulley system, basically where you pull the weight on the other side. And now I have a pulley wheel right at the top, exactly the height that I need for a lat pull down. So that pulley wheel was $10 on Amazon. And then the other piece that I needed was just a pulley cable. On Amazon, I found a 45-inch cable pulley. Is it the perfect length? No. I originally bought a 48-inch. It was a little too long. They do sell 36 inches, but that was too short. So the length I went with was 45 inches, and it ended up being the perfect height that I need for this lat tower. This is all gonna be dependent on your height. I am 5'10", and this is the right length for me. If you're really tall, I mean, I don't think this solution is gonna work. If you're shorter than me, this will 100% work. Now, it doesn't have the stopper ball on the end, which I wish it did because then it prevents your cable from going over the top. But once you hook a carabiner on, it's not gonna fall through. It just doesn't stay as weird. It just doesn't stay as low as when you have the stopper ball on it. So all in between the wheel and this pulley, we are $20 for this solution. Now, it does require 2 carabiners on the end. I don't count that in my cost because I have so many of these lying around. Whenever I buy attachments, they seem to come with them. And then the only other thing you need is a way to attach it to your pulleys. Now, when you go 2 to 1, you don't really just want to hook your carabiner up right to these 2 pulleys because then it's not going to be smooth and you're going to damage these pulleys because they're going to be pulling in. You really want them to pull straight up. And that's where adapters come into play. I had this one already. This is a Kaizen adapter, which is a really solid piece that I get a ton of use out of because there are so many different holes for your attachments. This was $25, I believe. Bells of Steel sells a cheaper one. It's basically just a straight line that's got 2 holes on the end and 1 in the middle. A much simpler piece, and that I believe is $15. So if you do need to buy that for this, it still won't break the bank. And then we just gotta hook our new cable pulley there. And then I run this one over the top and hook the carabiner in. And then I'm gonna lower my pulley to the right height that I need. So if I were to let go to this, it goes back, back in here, but it's not gonna fall through because of the carabiner. But once you hook your attachment to it, there's enough weight on pretty much all attachments that it's not gonna go anywhere. And it's done. And then the very last thing you have to consider is a way to hold your legs down. Now I have this piece that I just slide right into my rack. I do not expect you guys to have the same thing nor build the same thing. I added adapters to my lever arm. So this was the bracket that the lever arm was originally on. And because I added adapters, I had to remove these. So I have these extra brackets that just slide right into the rack. I don't expect that anyone would just have those lying around. If you have something like that, then that's amazing. But this is the part that's actually gonna hold your legs. This is a 2-foot threaded rod that I bought at the hardware store. It is 5/8 of an inch because that's the hole sizing for this specific pulley tower. So it slides right through these holes, and then these foot pads, they sell on Amazon. A whole bunch of different companies sell them. You can just buy the cheapest ones. They slide right through. They're meant for a larger rod, but even with a little bit of wiggle on these, it still holds your legs, and that's all we needed to do. So these 2 foot pads were about $20, I think. Somehow the most expensive of all the things that I bought. So if you want a cheap leg holder, you can slide it right in, and you got a leg holder here. I happen to have this, so it's much easier just to be able to slot this right in and take it out. So all in, that leg holder will run you 30, cables another 10, pulleys another 10. You're looking at about 50 bucks total for this lat pull down attachment, which is so much cheaper than any other solution. Not to mention, it doesn't require any effort. You just gotta buy the pieces. That's it. As you can see here, not only do I have full extension, I have an extra inch or so to give, and it is the perfect, comfortable, and cheap solution. If you guys have specific questions, let me know. I'm gonna put more details that I didn't touch on in the description below, and I will link to everything. So if you're searching for anything, check that out and you'll be able to find it. But if you have questions, I'll do my best to answer. And I got a lot more hacks like this coming up, so stay tuned to the channel because there will be more coming very soon.